Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
Well, hello and welcome to the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and today I've got a very special guest. Her name's Miriam Putnam, and she's a holistic mental health advocate and a board-certified wellness coach and freedom from stress counselor. And she helps individuals reconnect with themselves and find balance in a fast-paced and overwhelmed world. And I'm going to leave it at that because you got a great background story. We've gotten started talking. I really enjoy our conversation. I want to just jump into it. Miriam, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Oh, pretty good, Joe. Thank you so much for that introduction. You're
Well,
such a kind soul.
it's my pleasure. You know, I've gone through some things in life that have taught me that nothing's worth getting irritated about, and it's better to be kind. So I don't know. Not everybody that knows me would agree with my perception of myself, but I, that's the way I think. I was looking through your bio, and you have got quite a background. You are related directly to Amelia Earhart.
That is right.
Wow, now that's quite a relative to live up to there.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe the reason why grew up thinking about creating greater freedom for all of us.
I love it. I love it. She was quite a pioneer and certainly an inspiration to everybody.
Hmm.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into the world of mental health?
All right. So it's quite a long story. You can cut me off or interject with questions at any point in time that you want,
All
Joe.
right.
But I got to this point in time with what I'm doing now to help professionals and entrepreneurs overcome negative thoughts and stress and overwhelm, kind of like a reset and rise
Okay.
because of watching and experiencing the broken mental health system that we have in our country.
Mhm.
I lost my mom to that system
Wow.
and went through lots of trials and tribulations with very, very expensive doctors and all sorts of hospitals and advice that was not really that great. And, some doctors I did meet along the way that did help some and
Mhm.
learned a lot and was continuously on a search for what is this holistic mental health? Like, does it exist? How do I solve it? Because psychiatrists have a very big book filled with diagnoses that are given out quite regularly from doctors, the psychologists, psychiatrists. And I wanted to know, like, what is this about and how do you solve it?
Well, and psychiatrists to me remind me a lot of oncologists, where they have this sort of standard of care book they work out of. And, if something lines up to this problem, they have this pharmaceutical solution.
Mhm.
And holistic thinking, really, that's maybe one prong of a many pronged fork, but certainly not the only one. And that's why I'm always a little cautious when, people talk about psychiatrists in particular, because they just seem to be so pharmaceutical centered.
Yes, overall, I think that that is true. There's a few of them out there that aren't on the medication side and that do operate more integratively
Nice.
and more naturally, but you have to really fight to find them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, this show has brought out the truth about doctors in such a way that, some people have this really negative perception about doctors and Western medicine, and it's all evil and pharmaceutical controls everything and all that. And yeah, there's influences in that, but within every profession, there are people that lean on the full spectrum of this. And I've talked to some amazing doctors that care a
Yeah.
lot. And I've also talked to some that, work straight out of the book, and it's, get in line, do your thing, here's your bill, and, call me tomorrow.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, Joe, if we take a step back and you kind of look at the medical industry like any sort of category in life, we can see that there are good individuals and that there are bad individuals. It's kind of,
Exactly.
overall, it's related to any sort of category that we can look at in life. And I mean, it's interesting that you bring that up, that many of your guests on the show might be a bit critical, I guess, of the medical industry. And I like to remind people that I choose to help that it is up to them to choose their personal journey. It is, it is our responsibility to do our own advocacy and search
Yes.
out answers. And, if a doctor says something to you and you don't agree, it's your right to say, no, thank you.
It's your obligation.
Yeah.
That's you're drumming my drum right now. I think people forget that we hire the doctors.
Yeah.
And they're not hiring us and they're not assigned to us. We choose them. And if we don't
Yeah.
like them, we go and choose another one. And that's
Yeah.
it. It's really
Yeah.
not more complicated than that.
Exactly.
So I love that point of view as the patient advocate. And it's important though, people like you and myself and others that advocate for others and help to guide them and whatnot. It's a lot of what I do anyways, and I'm eager to learn what you're doing is to just show people that you have the power. It's
Yeah.
your job to figure out what you need.
Yeah, well, right. And that's one of the areas that I specialize in, just really
Nice.
like helping someone get on a better path for them, but self-determined,
Yes.
because that's the sort of counselor that I am and that I focus on a very special code at honoring the other person and their viewpoint and their direction and not trying to, bypass it or overcome their self-determinism, just sort of gentle guiding and showing options and supporting whatever a person chooses.
I love that. I love that. So, as you were exploring the mental health world, you found found a big spectrum of solutions, different practitioners doing different things. What, how did that gel with you? Like, what did you end up deciding? How did that affect you, I guess?
Yeah, well, for me personally, just because from a very young age, I was always very spiritual,
Mhm.
went through a sick period when I was younger, had Burkitt's lymphoma when I was 7, so confronted near death at a young age. And
Wow.
yeah, and was always, I guess, pretty in tune as an individual, as a spiritual being. And it was shocking for me to experience the currently, unfortunately, broken mental health system.
Mhm.
Just as an overall nutshell to answer your question, I was sort of the quote unquote black sheep in my family.
Okay. I think we
Always,
have that in common as well.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it seems like it. So I was the one going to the doctor's appointments with my mom or other family members and questioning, right?
Uh-huh.
Because I really wanted to know, Joe, if my mom is being told to take these medications that have black label box warnings, then where is the proof that they are going to work, right?
Right.
Because it's so subjective. Mental health is so subjective. It's based on how the person feels and it's based on the evaluation of the professional on the other side.
Right.
And so I was on a quest. I felt like I was on a quest trying to help my mom and trying to investigate and trying to see what is this all about. And I would go, get in a little argumentative situation sometimes because I couldn't understand how could this drug be advised when there is no test?
Well, and not only that, but it seems that some of the negative potential side effects of psych meds are the exact problem that they're supposed to be solving.
Yeah.
This might help you feel better, but it also might help you feel a whole lot worse about the thing you're doing. And I'm like, wow, that's just like Russian roulette, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is. Russian roulette that's a very good analogy, Joe. I like that. Yes, Russian roulette. I mean, it's a bit sad, right? Because if you think about how
Terrible,
terrible a
yeah.
person must feel
Right.
to play Russian roulette, then, I look at the industry and I think, well, I don't have a lot of empathy for it. Probably number one, because I lost my mom and I have a lot of experience with it. But
Mhm.
if the industry as a whole is not producing good results, then we as individuals have a responsibility to say, okay, enough is enough.
Hi, this is Joe Grumbine, and I wanted to share an update. The platform that hosts this podcast has made some changes to the subscriber settings, and we have a number of subscriber-only episodes that we offer to the supporters, and for a minimum of $3 a month, we can get you signed up. And if you're already signed up and you're having some kind of trouble locating these episodes in the other platforms, I would say maybe the best answer is to unsubscribe and then resubscribe. I'm sorry for the hassle. I don't have any way to make a change, but I'm very grateful for all the support. Thank you. Agreed. And so, and you're dealing with something like with cancer or many diseases, there are clear markers that say, well, you have this or you don't have this. And,
Yeah.
and you can determine for sure that you have it or don't. With mental health issues, most of the time, like you said, it's a subjective analysis of behaviors and feelings and things like that that you just don't know for sure.
Yeah, totally. And one of the things that I speak about and then help certain individuals with is that if they've had a diagnosis, obviously there's a lot of education that I have to do with someone, but then overall it is on when is the last time you've had a comprehensive blood test? Like,
Yeah,
what
that's a good
do
idea.
the minerals and vitamins look like in your body? What are the vitamin D levels at? Do
Yeah,
you have any hidden bacteria? Is there a liver toxicity going on in your body? What do the hormones look like? Because I would
yes.
say close to 90% of the time, a lot of mental illness diagnoses are actually based in the body, right?
Yay,
Yeah.
good job. I
Yeah.
like you more and more. Yeah, it's so true though. You think about what makes you feel a certain way, and diet and hormones and sleep and stress and inflammation and other ailments are all of those things,
Yeah.
How
Hmm.
many times is it just an actual physiological brain problem,
Yeah,
Sometimes,
sure.
I'm sure, but not many times. I bet it's not.
Right, right. Well, we have the brain, which is the central nervous system computing machine, right? So it's controlling all of the nervous system. And
Right.
like, how is the nervous system functioning? Okay, if somebody needs to have like a little bit of a reset that happens, that's going to be with lots of different, I mean, somebody can try lots of different avenues, but like maybe a grounding pad,
Yes.
B1 supplement, I don't know, maybe all the B vitamins,
Right.
because the nervous system needs so much
A sleep
nutrients.
study,
Yeah.
a hydration study. I mean,
Yeah.
you just go on and on and on. So you're speaking with a voice that tells me you certainly spent a lot of time doing what you're doing because you're speaking with a wisdom that only experience gives. But what got you to go from my mom has this problem, my mom passed away with this problem, I'm exploring all this stuff, I want to be a part of it. What
Yeah.
took you to that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a bit of a journey, obviously, and picking up little pieces as I went along, and really an investigation on like how do we solve mental health, right? So I had this long experience, almost 15 years
Yeah,
of what doesn't work and having many family issues to go along with that. But the whole time, Joe, I was looking for someone like me, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was really looking for someone to
I
shine the
think we're all
light.
always doing that.
And so then what does a responsible person end up doing is, I put myself through my own personal
Sure.
transformation, and I said, okay, that's it. I have to be that person that I was once looking for, because there must be so many individuals out there that feel like me, like don't
Right.
want to go the medical route, but are having a really hard time finding solutions.
Yeah. So the mental health system, I work with a number of different mental health groups on different levels with my nonprofit. And there's all kinds of different categories, from counselors and facilitators and people with training, people with licenses, people with, MDs. There's all this. I mean, the mental health world has got so many different places you can be in. Where do you fit in, and what does that mean?
Well, where I really fit in is kind of on the side or above, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because I can solve someone's mental health issue. Like if someone's suffering with grief, loss, bipolar, even as far as schizophrenia, like it is something that I know how to solve now because of how much training I've had on
Uh-huh.
spirituality, applied philosophy, health, you know, everything. I could go on and on about it, but
Yeah.
it's not where I like to focus. Where I like to focus is I help entrepreneurs and professionals be able to rise in life by doing a reset.
Nice.
So that is body, mind, and soul health balanced. And now you're actually reaching your vision in life.
So tell me how you were able to set that target and build a practice around that, because that's a very special group of people that I happen to inhabit. So I like that group of people myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're a special breed, and
Yeah,
we don't
definitely.
always think like other people do, and oftentimes we have pretty strong opinions about things, and we're not always easy to help sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, right. I
Just
get
a
it.
thought.
I
Yeah,
know. Yeah, because I'm in that group as well. So I
sure.
understand. A lot of us can be pretty strong-willed,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So probably it's just honestly a natural progression for me because
Okay.
I grew up in a really nice family and went traditional education route and was always looking for the proper solutions that we could afford,
Hmm.
right? And then becoming a professional woman, I just fit into that category naturally.
Hmm. And so, as an entrepreneur yourself, you have an empathy for people's challenges, frustrations, hopes and dreams, and all of that.
Well, yeah, because I did it myself. I know what it's like to go through hard times, pull yourself out effectively,
All
right?
right.
Like I did it extremely effectively, and now I help others do it that are
Yeah.
actually interested in like greater awareness, more clarity, more peace of mind by doing a reset in order to rise, like just more fulfilled happiness in life.
So you mentioned reset many times. So do you host retreats or do you hold workshops? I mean, that seems like it's a foundational key word in what you do. So how do you get that through to people?
Well, by doing podcasts like this with
I
you,
love
and
it.
I am looking forward to doing retreats in the very near future,
Oh,
but
nice.
currently I only offer private retreats to
Oh, okay.
like individuals. Like for instance, if you were interested in doing a program with me, we would meet in line and then we would do our course and we'd map out the vision and we'd map out a plan. And then next we would make plans to meet in person
Okay.
and then start doing the energy exchange that I'm extremely proficient at.
Uh-huh.
So that's basically how the program works. We dissolve negative energy in the mind and replace it with positivity so that a person actually gets that feeling of being reset. So now reaching their vision is like butter. It's like,
So you're talking about energy exchange. I work with a lot of different people in a lot of different modalities. So I have a one woman who I'm very close to, and she works with a practice that she calls NSR, and it's a nervous system reset, and it's an energy work. And she'll lay you down and
yeah, so this is very different than anything that has to do with Reiki.
okay.
So the fact is that
Similar to that. Yeah.
yeah, most people believe that we're only bodies,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like above that. I
Yeah.
really know a lot about body health because
Yeah.
it's the foundation, right? So we have what we're eating, nutrition, if we're
Sure.
exercising, and then we have sleep. So once those three things are covered, and obviously, if somebody's taking medication, I have to address that as well.
Right.
But then over that and above that is the health of the mind and how our habits are affecting that in
Uh-huh.
order to get into doing the powerful spiritual counseling that I do.
Nice. So you work with them on a lower level first, where you address the things that are correctable, like the diet and like the sleep and that sort of thing. And
Mhm.
so,
And healthy habits, right? Like healthy habits as far as, if you're not really exercising that much or you don't really have time to exercise, how can you improve the area? Like, can you take the stairs at work? Can you do
sure,
a
sure.
15-minute walk at night? Like,
Yeah.
how can you improve the area?
And so you start out with like a baseline and you say, okay, we are here. And then you have what maybe is your acceptable place to be where you can begin doing the stuff you do best. And you kind of work on that until you feel that they're into that region where they're performing at a level that you can help them.
Yeah, I mean, usually the first part of the program takes about 10 to 15 hours. The
Okay.
next part takes about 15 hours, and the next part takes between 30 and 50 hours. And then somebody feels like completely brand new, renewed, reset, and good to do anything.
Wow. Wow. Well, that seems like a very powerful program that you have. And how long have you been doing this the way that you're doing it now?
About 15 years. So we're just now at the stage of taking things more public.
Okay.
And that's why I formed the company We Help Group.
Uh-huh.
So I work with a few other individuals, but me, I'm the face of it because of, been doing it a while. And then, I like talking about it and I love meeting new people.
I love that. So are you seeking to train people that do what you do to grow the program?
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a natural progression, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it'll be a natural progression. And I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about getting into retreats and,
Uh-huh.
seeing where we're going to take this.
And so some of this is being done virtually. Some of it's being done one-on-one. Do you have a studio or do you go
Yeah.
out to the outdoors? Okay, so you generally work from your office or your studio.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a couple offices, and then
Okay.
what we'll do sometimes is the person will fly here when
Hmm.
they're ready, or me or someone else will fly to them.
Okay. And then how long, you say it takes 15 hours, is it all in one setting? Or are you doing 3-hour sessions over days or
Yeah. Yeah, it's about like that. 2 to 3 hour sessions, so about five different times to meet online. And then if the individual chooses to go to the next part, then we will talk about next steps. Like it's not
okay.
pushy, it's literally it has to be somebody's own self-determinism, right? Like if you are really interested in greater peace of mind and more clarity and not thinking about whatever stress keeps coming back in your mind because the unconscious mind can be like a loop for us
Right.
sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. The monkey
Oh my
brain.
gosh. It's
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good explanation for it, Joe.
Yeah.
Monkey brain, right? It like
Yeah.
it'll keep us in a loop. It'll keep us
Right.
in a loop. And so this program is specifically for individuals that are ready to like, stop the loop, get out of the loop, break free of it, experience what genuine freedom from stress feels like, to be able to rise.
And so in the years that you've been doing this, you say that there's basically like three levels to this. How many or what percentage of people do you think, like, I would imagine there's some people, they go through and they get that first part and they feel better. They're like, oh, I'm okay now. I don't need to do any more. And then they decide, okay, that's all I need. And others might go, okay, wow, I feel clear. I can see that I need to do so much more work. Or, there's so many different ways the mind can interpret a progression. And
Yeah, right. I mean, we're all individuals, and
right.
we're all on our own spiritual journeys, so to speak, right? I mean, somebody may be good for one point or one part, and then they might decide they want the next part in like another 6 months or another year, or they may decide not ever to do it, right? To each their own.
And so would you say what is the percentage of people that start the program that go all the way to the end?
Oh, I'd say it's about 60.
Okay, that's pretty good actually. I would think a lot of things like that have a huge amount of fallout especially when there's work involved. People think there's going to be like this magic, I'm going to be all better, and when it's mostly you have to make the work, it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay, I just go to the gym for that. And,
Yeah, right. No, of course. I mean, sure. I mean, we kind of have that a little bit in our culture, this sort of I hate to say laziness or
oh
something,
yeah,
but
do it for me.
like,
Yeah, yeah,
well, yeah, I mean, it's like part of the drug culture, I
yeah,
think. Like if we just take a drug, then
yeah,
everything's going to be fine and I don't have to think about it and I don't have to worry about it.
exactly.
Yeah, but
I just go get the
unfortunately,
procedure done and I'll be okay now.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But
Well,
but then we have that roller coaster, the roller
exactly.
coaster. Yeah,
Right.
because drugs are fine. Like drugs, like, we take drugs, either
Yeah.
illegal or legal drugs, and it can create a release
Right.
or, you can like
They have
feel
their place
better.
in life. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
for a
place
couple
for it.
days and then,
Right.
whoa, now I have to take more of the drug. Oh,
Right.
now I have to take more of the drug. And
Yeah.
so what I do is very, very different from that. And you're right. Yeah, of course it takes work, but I'm the one doing most of the work.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, would you say that there is not so much a type of person, but a scenario that brings most people to you?
Yeah, I think it's when somebody is finally gets to a point where they say, that's it.
And so, as an entrepreneur, they have one or more business programs, things that they're doing, building, working on, inventing, whatever. And they've come to a place where maybe it's really successful, maybe it's too successful, maybe it's just not quite making it, whatever the issue is.
Yeah, whatever.
And they come to a spot where they just can't, they feel like they're not able on their own to go to that next step. And they come upon you
Yeah, basically.
and they come knocking on your door. You seem like,
Yeah, well, it's not always people that are looking for greater wealth. I help people that have a lot of wealth
sure,
already. It's like, the amount of money is not really the deciding factor. Usually it's something like something happens where it's a
okay,
bad breakup or losing somebody that they love or some business situation, legal situation, something that is like kind of hitting a wall. Like
oh,
I gotta get through this wall. That happens a lot. I mean, I would say like 30-40% of the time, it's somebody that's literally looking for greater awareness.
okay, so some external factor has caused a big change in their life and that it's disrupted their flow, their norm, and that's what's messing them up. And then they got to
Well,
find a way to get through that.
yeah, and I talk to a lot of people that have tried many solutions, Joe. I've tried so many things,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. I'm burning the candles, I'm doing the crystals, I'm
Right,
doing the
right.
cards, I've done the
Yeah,
retreats, I've done this,
yeah,
I've done that, and oh my gosh,
yeah,
not I mean it works for a little bit, but then it doesn't
yeah.
work. So I need something permanent.
Right, right. No, I love that. Have you ever sat in a sweat lodge?
Yeah.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, that's a wonderful tool that helps a lot of people find a lot of answers. That's just my own little aside. I would like to know in the 15 years that you've been doing this, there's got to be a number of stories that were just really amazing transformations. Why don't you share a little bit about one of them?
Yes, totally. I'm
You
just
got a
thought
book
of,
you could write about all that, but
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm helping somebody right now that was had many different surgeries and kept having issues with body health. And then we did a spiritual program and the body health situation just went away.
nice, nice. And do you ever run into a situation where like you think, oh yeah, this is just textbook. We're going along my program, everything's good, but for whatever reason, you hit a wall?
Mm, no,
Good. I love that.
no, definitely not.
I
Definitely
love
not.
that. I love
Yeah,
that.
no, I mean, because I know it's just one process away from breaking through.
Right.
Like I help children as well and
Nice.
be able to dissolve the anxiety and
Yeah.
lots of different things in that area.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, it can take about 15 hours to really, you know, get it to start going away.
Yeah.
So kids can be a little bit tougher,
Sure, sure.
but it's very gratifying.
I love that. Yeah, I learned a thing along the way in my journey, and that literally you can do anything. Like there isn't anything we can't do. So you seem to be somebody who owns that a little bit. And so I love that. That's it,
Yeah.
we all have superpowers. We all have the
Yeah,
ability to
exactly.
solve any problem and for us or anybody else. And it seems like you've been able to harness that. So look into the future. Where do you see this program going? How does it look?
I am really hoping that we have offices in many big cities
Nice.
and then we're doing big retreats around the world.
I love it. I love it. Well, maybe one day you'll come out to our garden and we'll set up a retreat out there.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. It'd be so fun.
Beautiful. Well, as I suspected, we're going to run out of time before we run out of questions, but I would love to have you come back. There's so much to talk about. Is there a thought that you would like to leave our audience with? You've got so much wisdom and so many experiences to share, but is there one thing that you'd like to leave everybody sitting here with?
Yes, I would love to tell you, whoever's listening out there, just don't shut yourself down. When you know something to be true and you know you have to keep looking for it, believe me when I tell you the answers are out there. Try your best to not feel defeated and keep fighting the good fight.
I love it. That is a beautiful message. Going through my cancer battle, that was always my thing. It's just keep going, keep
Keep
marching.
going.
You just don't
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, right. Like keep marching. You just gotta
Yeah, I
keep.
mean, it's the human spirit has an amazing ability to carry on. And
Yeah.
it's just a crazy thing. Like no
Yeah.
matter how bad it is, like you can always take one more step. You can always
Yeah.
go, well, we'll do this one more day and we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. And that's it seems to be critical to success. Well, Miriam, I certainly would love to hear how everybody can reach you and what's the best way to get in touch. I know we have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to you, and I'm certain that some of them are going, I got to talk to this lady.
Yeah. So it's very easy to get in touch with me. I have a website, miriamputnam.org, and somebody can reach me directly through that website.
Beautiful. Well, it has been an enchanting conversation, and I definitely would love to have you out here and visit the gardens, meet my wife, and see the magic we've been doing. And I just love the work you're doing.
Yeah.
You're helping people in a beautiful way.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Enchanting conversation. That is a beautiful way to say it. Thank you so much for the enchanting conversation.
It was my pleasure. Well, this has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and I want to thank all of our listeners for making this show possible, and we will see you next time. This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health-minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show, please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right. Well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.